Thieaudio as a brand is definitely a head turner in the IEM community. Whenever they release something, the entire community looks their way in hopes of greatness. They have many highly praised models like the Monarchs, the Oracle, Clairvoyance, V16, and the Hype series, just to name a few. Their IEMs are mostly known for being incredibly well tuned, most of them sounding more natural and balanced, and some with a sprinkle of fun in the bass or in the treble. But the one thing they rarely ever do is venture out of this kind of safer / more conventional kind of tuning that they're famous for until now. Introducing the Thieaudio's Origin, the Thieaudio IEM for bass heads. Let's jump into it. Now, being a bass-focused IEM is not the only standout thing of the Origin. It is also the first ever quad-bridge IEM that Thieaudio's ever made. It sports a 1 dynamic driver, 4 BAs, 2 EST, and 1 bone conduction driver, coming in at $849 USD. In terms of accessories, the Origin comes with 3 sets of silicone and foam ear tips, a carrying case, and a thick rubbery cable. The cable is modular, which means it comes with interchangeable termination options. In this case, it comes with 3.5 and 4.4. The cable itself is a bit on the stiff side, but it is not nearly as stiff as other kind of thicker rubbery cable can be. So in real world use, I didn't really feel any discomfort or dissatisfaction when using the cable. But the shell, however, is a bit of a different story. It is a bit on the thicker or chunkier side, if you will, and it did feel a bit of discomfort after about an hour or two of wearing them. Speaking of the shell, it is a full resin with a metal nozzle, and though that's not the best for build quality at the price, it might actually be a requirement in order for the bone conduction driver to function properly. Or at least that's the current understanding of the technology. On the topic of the bone conduction driver, take a look at this graph right here. You'll see a little notch in the lower mid-range and the bass area. This does somewhat indicate that the bone conduction driver is working. Now, whether the effect is a positive or a negative one is still up in the air, but at the very least, it is doing something. Now, with the non-sound stuff out of the way, let's finally jump into the sound. And since we do sell the Origin on Hangout.audio, you guys already know that it is critical approved, which means it sounds pretty damn awesome. But what does it sound like exactly? Let's talk about it. The Origin is a bassy boy, a thick boy. The bass rumbles and thumps so strong, but so good. It's dynamic, it's well defined, and exceedingly fun. And despite being the main focus of the IEM, the rest of the frequency response is not compromised. The mid-range is tuned similar to the current meta of tuning, which is to say it sounds quite natural and quite good. The strong bass does add a richness and weight to the mid-range instruments and vocals, but it's not overpowering to the point of drowning out the mids or overpowering to the point of introducing muddiness. The treble is also well done. It is smooth and slightly elevated, which helps balance out the amount of bass that this IEM have. Another thing it helps with is that it helps highlight the smaller nuances in the tail end of vocals and treble instruments. And at the same time, it does add a bit of incisiveness and tech to the Origin, which is much needed because with the bassy signature that it has, it's not really the most tech sounding IEM that you can get for the price. So overall, the Origin is quite a well-tuned IEM, even in today's standard, and for the bassy signature that it's going for, it is one of the more impressive ones on the market today. Now, the big question is, who is the Origin for? Who should or shouldn't buy the Origin? Let's start with the shoulds. Reason number 1, if you love bass, boy is this an IEM for you. It is easily one of the most satisfying sounding bass that still retains correctness in the other parts of the frequency. Both the sub and the mid bass will satisfy any connoisseurs of bass. Reason number 2, buy the Origin if you love exciting sounding IEMs. If you find that meta tuning or other neutral tuning to be too boring, but you want the same correctness just with a bit more extra sauce on top, the Origin is the IEM for you. And reason number 3, versatility. Despite the amount of bass that it has, the rest of the frequency band is still well proportioned enough so that any music you play on it still sounds quite good. Now for the reasons why you shouldn't get the Origin. And reason number 1 should go without saying. If you're not a bass head or you don't like powerful bass, you want something more neutral, the Origin is not the IEM for you. Reason number 2, if you don't like V-shape style tuning, if you prioritize correctness over fun at all costs, the Origin is not that. Reason number 3, don't buy the Origin if you want the highest level of details and tech for the price. In Thieaudio's own lineup, for a similar or cheaper price, the Monarch Mark II, the Mark III, and even something like the Hype 4 will offer you a more techy kind of sound. And lastly, reason number 4, the shell. It is big, so it's not really a safe buy for someone with smaller ears. Again, I highly recommend you to demo it first. But hey, that's just my one man's opinion on Thieaudio's new Origin. If you want to form your own opinion, why not come down to the Hangout? We're located at 200 Southbridge Road, level 1 in Chinatown. Come on down, ask for the Origin and any of the other hundreds of IEMs we have for demo. But if you're not able to make it to Singapore, but you feel like the Origin is the right IEM for you, why not buy from us at Hangout.audio or online retail store. We ship globally and for free on orders over $30. And with all of that being said, remember friends, if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. See you next week.